I don't think there's much need in setting it up, so very quickly, it's Danny Boyle's new film, stars Dev Patel as a street kid from Mumbai who finds himself on the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Here's a clip.
And what type of call center would that be?
XL5 mobile phones.
Oh, so you're the one who calls me up every single day of my life with special offers, huh?
No. Actually, I'm an assistant.
An assistant phone basher? And what does the assistant phone basher do exactly?
I get tea for people and...
Chaiwala. A chaiwala! Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jamal Malik, Garba Garam Chai Dene Wala from Mumbai. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And of course, what happens is, at the beginning of the movie, we find him one question away from winning the... Are you looking at me, or are you looking somewhere else?
No, I'm looking at television.
Right, can you not? Can you look at me?
Okay.
We find him one question away from winning the £1 million prize because they've had to take a break overnight, and he is being questioned by the police who think he's cheating. The question is he cheating?
Can I have my face at you, but also with my eyes on the television?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on the television, but is he cheating? Is he a genius? Is something weird happening, or is he just very, very lucky? Okay? Now, a number of things to say about the film. The first one is, I'm slightly confused by the publicity campaign, which is on the side of a bus is a great big picture of, smiling, happy couple being showered with confetti.
Like it's a Mamma Mia poster.
Exactly. And it says Slumdog Millionaire, the field dog film of the year. Now,
how many field dog films?
How many field dog? Yes, exactly. And it's a weird thing because when you first talked to Danny Boyle about the film, before I'd seen it, and one of the things he was talking about was there is stuff at the beginning of the film that is tough because the film is about street kids growing up in Mumbai, and he does not shy away from showing very, very rough forms of abuse of children.
Well, it's torture, isn't
It
it?
is. Well, torture, of Dev Patel, but also of the kids growing up, being taken into the orphanage, appalling things happening to them. There's almost a reprise of the train spotting down the toilet scene, although it's done slightly more comedically. I mean, it's tough. Now, I remember when I first saw Trainspotting and thinking, blimey, that's a tough movie. There's all that stuff about the baby crawling on the ceiling and the soiled sheets and the heroin. And it's tough. And then I saw the posters, thinking that's very clever. What they've done is they've somehow got the enthusiasm, the vibrancy of the film across, but without, I think, turning it into something else. Now, I have to say, in the case of Slumdog Millionaire, I'm not convinced that if you go and see it thinking that it's going to be the smiley, happy, feel-good film of the year with two people smiley, happily embracing with confetti falling down them, you're not going to be slightly taken aback by just how rough it is at the beginning. The triumph of Danny Boyle's work for me is this, that what he's always done, whether it's in Trainspotting or in this, is he gets a real street, right down on the ground level view of the world, but he never makes it anything less than visually enthralling and exciting. So you feel the vibrancy of the world, even as you understand the harsh reality of it. I think it was absolutely true of Trainspotting, which was a film about people in the throes of heroin addiction and death and misery and squalor, but it was still an exciting, vibrant film. And there are large sections of this in which he's right down in the dirt of really total squalid poverty and people being treated appallingly badly and being abused by the police and being abused by the orphanage, and all this stuff is happening, and yet it's still a vibrant film. That, for me, is what marks Danny Boyle out as an exceptional filmmaker. I trust his honesty and integrity. I mean, I think that he's somebody who genuinely cares for his characters, genuinely cares for the environment of his characters, and genuinely cares about the story. So all those things are true, but I don't think... And I came out of the film feeling very good, but I don't think that makes it a feel-good movie, which I think undersells the roughness of it. First point. Second point is, some people have said, well, the story is... it kind of defies credibility. It's not, it's not credible the way all these coincidences fit together. Here's my take on the story. I think it's a fable. I think it's quite clearly a fable. Right from the very beginning, it almost declares itself to be a sort of a fabulous tale. And I think that as soon as you understand that about it, or as soon as you accept that about it, it amazes me that people don't see that straight away. All those questions about whether or not this stuff, could actually happen seem to drift into inconsequentiality. The thing about it is, it's a film in which absurd coincidences, in which really, really, ridiculous crisscrossings of path come together in a way which is magical. That's the whole basis of it. Because Danny Boyle himself said that he was asking some of the cast whether they'd like to see a Bollywood version of this, and they said, well, if you did make a Bollywood version of it, the coincidence would have to be more absurd. The crisscrossing would have to be more crazy. It would have to be cranked up even more than it is. I really liked it. I think it's Boyle's best work in a very, very long time. I think Dev Patel is a terrific screen newcomer. I confess I hadn't seen him on screen in Skins.
In Skins, yes, that's what he did.
You and I did a quiz with him over the the Christmas holidays. And he seemed like a very, very nice kid.
And he was on again yesterday with Anil Kapoor.
Oh yes,
and,
who's great.
And people just listened, and in general, they thought he was. I mean, he's like a bouncy puppy. He's so enthusiastic about this film. And you're absolutely right. In fact, we had a caller through to Dev Patel who said, I loved the film. It's not a feel-good movie.
No, well, good, fine. Yeah. Well, in that case, they're quite right. But it's, I think that's the triumph of it. And funnily enough, although I understand that the publicity campaign is trying to draw in everybody, if you're like me, the kind of person who would be put off by that poster, don't be put off by that publicity campaign, because that's not the film that it is. It's much, much darker than that. It's much, much rougher than that. And that's why, when it comes through in this kind of, fable-like, almost fairy tale ending, it works. And as we all know, because he's talked about it before anyway, there's a final sequence when they do burst into song and dance, which is partly a sort of generic nod towards Bollywood movie, but it's partly because you kind of feel that the film has achieved that sort of fabulous level and it deserves it. I really, really liked it.